promises made in its support, and it is terrifying the Sunaks and the Starmers, who know that their dogmas of violence and oppression are no longer going unchallenged and are being fought every day on the streets of this country. That movement is today's memorial to Aaron Bushnell. Tomorrow's memorial will surely be raised by the people of Palestine themselves when their country is free and when they can see that to all their suffering and all their blood has been added the sacrifice of Aaron Bushnell. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy Murray from the Stop the War Coalition, who are fighting the good fight inside the media studios to answer the lies that they have created in order to try and drive us off the streets, but they will not succeed. Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! We've got a few more speakers and then we'll be hearing from Aaron and that audio. We won't play all of the audio, obviously, for obvious reasons, and then we'll be holding 1 minute's silence. But our next speaker is Jess Porter from the CWU, Members for Palestine Solidarity Group. The CWU is a communication workers union who organise the post office and other communication workers in this country.
Hello everyone, I'm Jess Porter from United Tech and Allied Workers. We're a national branch of the CWU dedicated to tech workers across all of the country. I can't say I knew Aaron. Of course I didn't. He was a tech worker like me, but he lived in a different country to me. He did a job I could never imagine doing, and he did an act I could never contemplate doing. But in a way, I think we all know Aaron. I think to me the most devastating thing is that I can understand how he ended up with the conclusion that he had to do something drastic for anything to change. Our rulers so often make choices that are not reflective of our wants and needs, and we are presented with a false choice between two parties, offering the same thing with a vote every few years. Everywhere we look, we are encouraged to stake our political identities on petty and trivial things, rather than question a bigger picture of what we actually think would be right and just in the world. At the best of times, this disaffection is depressing. And at the worst of times, like now, it leaves us pinned between feeling hopeless and feeling culpable for atrocity. All of us can see what is happening, and what has been happening for decades in Palestine, and that it is an injustice so acute that we will struggle to answer future generations when they ask us where we were and what we did when the Palestinians cried out for our help. Aaron's actions last Sunday brought the horror close to home. It forced people to see it, forced them to feel it, and forced them to realize that those fighting for Palestine are willing to lose everything for the cause. Aaron's actions put a terrible additional debt on our souls. If our government allows the genocide to continue, the blood of his gruesome suffering is now also on our hands. To quote a letter a reader sent to the Baltimore Sun in November 1965 about a Quaker that took the same action in protest of the Vietnam War, quote, "The death of Norman Robert Morrison before the Pentagon last Thursday was not a suicide, but murder. Our souls calloused over to violence, impervious to human suffering, murdered Norman Morrison. We murdered him just as coldly, just as mechanically, and just as insensitively as daily we murder men, women, and children in Vietnam." Aaron's actions managed to stand out among an unrelenting fire hose of disgusting and horrific news that we have seen during this conflict. A man, in his right mind, in clear spoken thought, expressed what all of us here think, and he burned himself alive to strike callous and hardened hearts wide open again. A man stood burning in broad daylight and made sure the pure horror of it couldn't be censored, so that everyone would have no choice but to be abruptly woken from their indifference and remember that this is not normal. While people in other countries move about the world doing their business, they carry a rot in their souls that they are desperate to ignore. A violent regime is committing a genocide with full-throated supports of their government. We cannot ignore it. We cannot stop fighting. Let his actions galvanize your anger. Let this moment of horror be an inflection point. We can win. We can and will make Aaron proud.
Yes, thank you very much. It's excellent to hear from the trade unionists of Britain, because this is a human rights issue. Before we move on, some housekeeping. The media have asked us, and I'm going to talk about the good media, as in Al Jazeera, who tell the truth about what's going on in Gaza, have asked us to stand back and make a little path down the middle here so they can get through and take some shots of our posters on the floor here and of Aaron, so people around the world, especially in the Middle East, can see that the solidarity movement in Europe is not going away, it's getting bigger and it's growing. And this vigil tonight is one of many vigils being held for Aaron all over the world. So Aaron did not die in vain, and we're standing here today as a testament to that. Thank you, Aaron Bushnell. Because Aaron was someone who was brought up a Christian. I think he probably was still a Christian when he died. Brought up in a Christian community in Massachusetts. He broke from that community. He went and joined the Air Force. He became a cyber security specialist in that Air Force, the US Air Force. And then he changed course again, still in the Air Force, but decided he wanted to help people. He actually took that Christian tenet about don't do to others what you don't want done to yourself, and look after other people in the world. And so he started to work with the homeless people. He used to go and give money to the homeless people, give coats and warm clothing to homeless people. That's the kind of person that Aaron Bushnell was. And we remember him because he stood by the Palestinian and made the ultimate sacrifice of his life to protest against the genocidal war that Israel continues to fight in Gaza. But it's not a real war. In most wars, the people that die are men, are soldiers. In this war, it's mostly children and women that are doing the dying. How does our government justify this outrage? Enough is enough. Our next speaker is Ahmed Al-Sheikh from the Palestinian Forum in Britain. Because we want to hear from our Palestinian brothers and sisters who are continuing to fight for 75 years. And they had the whole world with them, apart from Europe and America. It's Sunak who is isolated. It's Starmer who is isolated. It's Biden who is isolated. The people of the world stand with Gaza and Palestine.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. Thank you to every one of you for coming out today. We have witnessed yet another tragic event. Aaron Bushnell, who was only 25 years old, with his whole life ahead of him. He was an active US Air Force soldier who chose not to be complicit in an ongoing genocide of the Palestinian people. We are here today to honor his memory and fulfill his message, so that his death is not in vain. We will not let his death be in vain. He recognized and acknowledged wholeheartedly the struggle of the Palestinian people, not only in this ongoing genocide, but since 1945. Instead of merely having a voice, he gifted his precious soul to awaken everybody else's. His message was heard loud and clear. The suffering of the Palestinians must end now. The occupation must end now. And the genocide must end now. His last words were free Palestine. So let us join him in our voices. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Aaron Bushnell, we honor you. We salute you. We will never forget you. Rishi Sunak has let this go on for far too long. He isn't sitting by and watching. He is complicit. He needs to be locked up and the key thrown away. He has the blood of tens of thousands of innocent Palestinian children. He has lost the faith. He has lost the faith of the entire UK. We want to see him in prison. We want to see him behind bars. Not only Rishi Sunak, but Keir Starmer, Joe Biden, Netanyahu, and everyone who is complicit. And that day will come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. I'll just take this opportunity to say there's an emergency Stop the War assembly that's been called for the 5th of March. Stand with Rafah, because there's been talk about a ceasefire and getting some food into Gaza, but unfortunately, Netanyahu and the other war criminals are intent on launching their assault on Rafah, the so-called safe space that people were told to go to. If they launch that invasion of Rafah, there will be hundreds of, if not thousands of people more killed by the Israelis. We can't let that happen. So try and get along to that assembly, 5th of March, 6:30, Hamilton House, Mableton Place, London, WC1. That's the headquarters of the National Education Union. Check out the Stop the War Coalition website for more details. There's also the next national demonstration on the 9th of March. And the day before that, we're having a day of action, which is going to be for the women of Gaza, because it's International Women's Day, the 8th of March. So let's make sure we're all out for that. Wherever we work, wherever we go to school or college, or whatever we're doing in our community, do something for Gaza, be it putting something up on social media, or if you're organised in a workplace, maybe leading a walkout, or doing what some of the students are doing, like at Goldsmiths University or college, where they've been in occupation, where they've taken over whole sections of the university. And let's do what we did back in 2017, I think, when there was something like 20 or 30 university occupations up and down the country. That's the kind of movement we need. So let's spread the action for Palestine. Our next speaker is Tأبين. Stalwart of the movement.
Hello guys, my name is Tأبين. I'm a clinical research scientist. I'm from Healthcare Workers for a Free Palestine, and I'm incorporating some echoings from Seeds of Gaza today as well. So we are here today to honor all our martyrs, mothers, sons, daughters, journalists, and healthcare workers. We will remember the many Palestinian martyrs over decades of struggle, from Hanam Allah to Rafayet al-Rir and the 30,000 Palestinian martyrs in Gaza. And we will not forget the 10,000 plus Palestinian hostages still currently held indefinitely without charge, many of which are children. Last Sunday, on the 25th of February 2024, an active duty US airman, Aaron Bunchell, self-immolated outside the Zionist embassy in Washington, D.C. in a form of protest against the genocidal Holocaust inflicted upon the Palestinian people. As he engulfed in flames, Aaron demanded that we must no longer be complicit in genocide, and he called for the liberation and a free Palestine. We know that the US Air Force was complicit in carpet bombing Gaza, and we can only imagine what truths and horrors Aaron was privy to. Instead of being used by the US Air Force and the Israeli war machine to massacre more innocent civilians, he chose not to be an active participant or complicit in mass murder. Instead of inflicting violence on others, he turned the aggression on himself so that the world can turn their eyes to Palestine. We must honor his self-sacrifice and refuse the US, UK, and European military support for Israel, from intelligence to troops to weapons. People of conscience everywhere must refuse to be complicit in the genocide of the Palestinians. Here we are, 75 years and 146 days in. Enough is enough. Say it with me. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
If you say you going on in Palestine, then tell me, in what language do 10,000 children need to cry? I saw a father bring the remains of his children to hospital in carrier bags. I saw a boy crying that he couldn't find his school bag, not because he wanted books, because he wanted to put the remains of his brother inside. I saw doctors stand amongst the dead bodies in the courtyard of Al-Shifa Hospital to make a press release telling anyone who would listen about the genocide in front of them. I saw Palestinian children come together for a press release in English, a language they could barely speak, just so that they could get their voices heard. To this day, they are still protesting with placards written in English to appeal to us. I smiled as I watched a mother hug her sleeping child in a tight embrace close to her chest, only a moment later realizing that the child was in fact dead and that this was their final goodbye. I heard people scream as intentionally banned white phosphorus rained from the sky in one of the most densely populated places on earth. I saw sheets of paper fall from the sky, instructing Palestinians in the north to use Salahuddin Street to evacuate to the south, only to be bombed and be rained with bullets as they walked the 4-hour journey with no food, to find out even the south was not safe from the indiscriminate carpet bombing. From Jalabiyah to Gaza City to Deir Bala to Khan Yunis and now Rafah, where are they supposed to go? I saw an Uncle Khalid Naban kissing his granddaughter Reem on the head, soul of his soul, taking her earring, pinning it to his clothes pocket, and his grandson Tariq's football medal on his neck as a reminder of them both. On the 7th of January, I saw the wreckage of the target bombing of the car journalists Hamza Al-Dur and Mustafa Thraya. I saw Hamza's charred body being pulled out, barely responding. To Hamza, can you hear me? Say La ilaha illallah. I saw Wael hold the hand of his shrouded, martyred son. I saw journalists placing Mustafa in his ground, telling him the answers to the questions of the grave. Mustafa was one of the few remaining journalists who took footage of the devastation of the Gaza from air. Every reel she uploads, I hear the journalist say, "Hello everyone, it's Basan from Gaza. I'm still alive." Wednesday, the 10th of January, there was a bombing in South Gaza, one of the areas that Israel claimed to be a safe zone. I saw a 12-year-old boy with his hands pick up the flesh of his relative and place it in a white cloth for burial. A 12-year-old boy. I saw the body of the volunteer photographer for the Palestinian Red Cross Society for Fuad's dismembered body. I couldn't identify his head from his burnt clothes. I've seen cats eat the remains of the bodies of Palestinians who were yet to be buried. I saw the smoke dust coming from the bombing of a house on the street where the car of the journalist Saleh was just about to turn left onto. I've seen Israeli soldiers shoot point blank at Palestinians in the West Bank and then drive over their bodies with their $7 million US and UK funded tanks. I saw an Israeli soldier blowing up in a house in Gaza, calling it a birthday present for his wife. I saw an Israeli soldier cut open a safe in an evacuated home in Gaza. Heard reports of them stealing the money. I saw a Sky News reporter call the murder of a child the accidental shooting of a 3 to 4-year-old young lady. I saw the destruction the Israeli army caused to the graveyard next to Al Nasser Medical Complex, the last functioning hospital in the Gaza Strip. Gravestones destroyed, graves dug up, bodies of dead Palestinians stolen. I've seen people's skeletons in their open graves. I saw skeletons of Palestinians yet to be buried, covered in blankets on the road, holding up the Shahada finger, their last words, La ilaha illallah. I've seen Israelis dropped off a truck to Gaza filled with bodies of 80 Palestinians that Israel previously stolen from Gaza. I've seen the mass grave of 100 unidentified Palestinians. I saw the messages of journalists Mu'taz Aziza and Ismail Jude saying enough is enough. How can they keep putting their lives in danger to get us to live, just to get us live footage of Gaza while the world does nothing and is blind? I saw and heard the missiles drop onto Rafah refugee camp, the last place for Palestinians to seek refuge. And today, I saw the flower massacre. The starving, injured people of Gaza had waited hours in hopes of receiving just one bag of flour, only to be mowed down with bullets like lambs to the slaughter. The flour mixing with the blood of the Palestinians in the streets. This is not even half of what I and you and the world has seen. Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Enough is enough!
Enough is enough!
As written by the Palestinian Youth Movement, the word for martyr in Arabic is shaheed, which translates to witness, or one whose final moment in life is as a witness to injustice. Aaron Bushnell is a martyr whose final moment was spent in the heat of one naked, unflinching truth, the moral conscience of every human being, from the belly of the beast to the farthest reaches of the earth, demanding an immediate attention and action to the horrors before us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tabby. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! And for the people in the government who don't understand what that slogan means, it means one state in Palestine, historic Palestine, for everybody, where there are equal rights, where there is no more occupation, where there is no more apartheid, where there are no more concentration camps, because that is what they've been living in Gaza. And now they want to turn the whole of the West Bank into Greater Israel. We say no. We will stand with Palestine forever, and we will get victory, because we know from the history of South Africa, of Ireland, of Vietnam, of Africa, of Asia, that colonialism always dies. It's only a matter of time. And with the struggles of the Palestinian people and their allies around the world, and the revolutions to come to overthrow the corrupt dictatorships in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt. What a crying shame that Egypt builds a wall to stop food getting in. How can they do that? But it's not the Egyptian people, it's the police state in Egypt. We need to destroy that police state, and the road to Palestinian liberation runs through Cairo. So, let's now have our next speaker, a consultant surgeon. Alina, where are you? Cherie? Oh, standing right next to me. Thank you, sister. We're here from the surgeons, the doctors, the fighters for Palestinian justice in this country.
Thank you so much, Gary. And thank you so much to everyone here. This is an amazing turnout, and I'm really, really proud and also humbled by the presence of everybody here. I'm not going to spend too long, because I think all my other co-speakers, they have said basically everything that we all want to say. But in remembering all the lives lost since 7th of October 2023, and all who are still missing and all who are wounded, in remembering the suffering of all Palestinian people, it is tragic to hear and watch news of Aaron Bushnell. Tragic that a young, altruistic, peaceful, and justice-loving young man felt compelled to perform an extreme act to show his disgust, to show his disappointment, to show his anguish. I hope I'm not going to cry. As a doctor, I'm heartbroken. that yet another unnecessary life has been lost. As a mother, I am devastated that yet another mother has lost her son. This is all on the heads of the US government and the UK government and all the other governments that are complicit because they won't stop arming Israel. Say it with me. Stop arming Israel. 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 Thank you. And just today, non-stop, just this morning, a massacre of more Palestinians. At Al-Shifa, they received 50 martyrs and 200 wounded who were bombed at the aid line. How cruel can they be? Is this what this government wants? Is it not enough that 30,000 people have been killed in the space of 5 months and 1/3 are women and children? Is it not enough? We certainly do not want another life lost anywhere at all. I just want to share also that we're health workers for Palestine, and then we are thinking about our health worker colleagues. There were 2 in Al-Amal hospital that were just released recently, and they were tortured and abused before release. Now, I'm just going to end that if we all identify with Aaron, if we all feel like Aaron, please, however, hopefully you will find strength to not perhaps act like Aaron. We hope that his life will not be in vain and that we will continue to fight this fight together. Please reach out to any groups that are around you in your community. Join the solidarity campaign so that you are together in this fight. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Ceasefire! No! Ceasefire! No! Ceasefire now! 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 Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much.
انا مش عايز عايز اسلم على امي. ازيك يا ماما؟ انا بحبك قوي. وحشيني قوي يا ماما. Palestine will be free. Palestine will live forever. We will never let you die. Palestine. Palestine. Stop arming Israel. Stop arming Israel. Free Palestine.
It's going to be in Arabic, but I have a translation for it. It's from relief coordinator with the Palestine Relief Palestine Red Crescent Society. Sorry, yes. As you know, they have been attacked relentlessly whilst trying to help the wounded, the injured, and people who have been martyred. This person's name is Salim Aburas. You might know him from Instagram. There's quite a horrifying image of him being arrested with his handcuffed, his back with a few other medical workers whilst they were at one of the hospitals in Gaza. Now, Salim was missing. We didn't hear from Salim for the last 6 days, and a video of him appeared yesterday. And I got in touch with one of his brother who kindly managed to get his voice note from Salim. So this is in Arabic, and like I said, I will translate it to you afterwards. I hope you guys can hear it.
مرحبا، أنا سليم أبو راس، بشتغل في دائرة إدارة مخاطر الكوارث بالهلال الأحمر الفلسطيني. بالإضافة إلى هيك عندي صفحة على الانستغرام بسلط فيها الضوء على العاملين في المجال الإنساني. طبعا الاحتلال رفض إدخال المستلزمات الطبية والذي زاد المستشفى، وما أدخل إلا كميات قليلة لا تكفي للطواقم والمصابين والنازحين الموجودين داخل المستشفى، وبالتالي أصبحت المستشفى تعاني من نقص حاد في هذه المستلزمات. طبعا احنا طوال اليوم عم نحصل على وجبة واحدة من الغذاء، أو بتكون عبارة عن غذاء معلب. رسالتنا للعالم احنا بنحكي لهم إنه يجب عليكم حماية الطواقم الطبية العاملة في الميدان. طبعا طول اليوم احنا عم نحصل على وجبة غذاء واحدة عم بتكون عبارة عن غذاء معلب. رسالتنا للعالم الخارجي إنه يجب عليكم حماية المستشفيات والطواقم الطبية الموجودة في الميدان. طبعا احنا كنا عم نتواصل مع العالم الخارجي وعم نوصل صوتنا من خلال اللي هو شرايح الإيسم، وبعد ما الاحتلال سرق جوالاتنا احنا مش عم نقدر نوصل صوتنا ومش عم نقدر نوصل للناس شو الاشياء اللي عم بتصير داخل المستشفى. بالاضافه الى هيك لانه الاحتلال استهدف المستشفى بقذائف اكثر من مره وبطلق الرصاص بشكل دائم على المستشفى. وحتى عشان نستخدم هاي الإيسم عم نروح على مكان خطير داخل المستشفى، وبحزنني جدا اني احكي انه داخل المستشفى في مكان خطير. المفروض انه المستشفيات والطواقم الطبيه العامله في الميدان تكون محميه بوفق اتفاقيات جنيف والقانون الدولي الانساني. حاليا انا محاصر داخل مستشفى الامل من تاريخ 21/1 كطواقم طبيه ونازحين ومصابين. طبعا الاحتلال بيمنعنا من انه نطلع خارج اسوار المستشفى، واي حدا بتنقل بيتم استهدافه. وقتل الاحتلال مجموعه من زملائنا داخل المستشفى، وفي تاريخ 9/2 اقتحم الاحتلال المستشفى واعتقل مجموعه من زملائنا، وقاموا الجنود بضربنا وقيدونا وقاموا بسرقه جوالاتنا منا، وحاليا احنا مقطوعين عن العالم.
Right, now I'm going to translate that into English, but for those of you who actually understand Arabic, lucky you. That's amazing. And why did I play it in Arabic when I know majority of us don't speak Arabic? It's really important to understand and acknowledge the fact that Palestinians are people. They're not just numbers. It's important to hear his voice. It's important to hear his suffering, regardless in whatever language he's speaking in. It doesn't matter. We're all one. So that's what, I think we should all remember. Thank you. The translation of his note. Hello, if someone can record this and send this to me afterwards, because I promised I was going to send it to him. Thank you. Anyways, hello, I am Salim Aburas. I work in the Disaster Relief Union of the Palestinian Red Crescent. I also have an Instagram page where I share content about what aid workers are having to live through. The occupation has rejected medical supplies entering the strip and didn't allow enough to treat all the injured and displaced people coming to the hospital. So now the hospital is in desperate need of these things. We only get 1 meal a day, and it's normally tinned in a can. Our message to the world is that you have to protect medics on the ground. We eat 1 tin of food a day, and our message to the world is you need to protect the hospitals and the doctors. We used to speak to the international world through the eSIM, but since the occupation stole the phones of everyone who works in the hospitals, we've not been able to share what's happening with the world. Shame. Shame. They are consistently opening fire and artillery on the hospital. Shame. To even use our eSIMs, we have to go to a part of the hospital that's very dangerous. Isn't that crazy to say? Why should the hospital have a dangerous place? Why? We should be protected under the Geneva Convention. I've been surrounded and trapped in the Al-Amal hospital since the 21st of January, along with the medics and the injured. We're not allowed to leave the hospital. Anyone who leaves gets shot. Many of our medical colleagues have been killed. On the 9th of February, the occupation entered the hospital and arrested a bunch of healthcare workers. They beat us and tied us up. And then they stole our phones. We're now cut off from the world. Please remember us. Sorry, Salim is a person. Salim is currently alive, stuck in the Al-Amal hospital. Why are we not doing enough? Why is the government not doing enough to help these innocent people? So, please remember them. Please keep going. I have one more voice. Is that okay? Or is it not okay? Sorry. I need a poster though. Sorry, guys. No, 2 minutes. Literally. Oh, thanks, honey.
Free, free!
Palestine!
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 1, 2, 3, 4!
Occupation no more!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Israel is a terrorist state!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Occupation no more!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Israel is a terrorist state!
I think we have the poster now.
So this is Salim.
It's been kidnapped. Here.
No, this is a doctor. This is a Dr. Saleh Alewa. I couldn't find the voice note because I've been getting too many messages on my Instagram. But Salim, the voice you heard just now, is that guy over there? Can you move forward? It's quite dark. Sorry, honey. This is Salim Al-Raz. He's currently in Al-Amal Hospital. You have the privilege to hear from him firsthand. He recorded that message asking all of us to help and step up our actions. So when you leave today, sign every petition, write to your MPs and representatives every day until we know they are safely out of that hospital. So this is a very, very quick one. I don't want to take anyone's time. This is Dr. Saleh Alewa. Dr. Saleh Alewa was apparently abducted by IOF. Let's call them IOF. They're no longer IDF. They're not defending anything. They're occupying a land that's not theirs. Remember that, it's IOF. Dr. Saleh Alewa was abducted when he was leaving Al-Shifa Hospital, 18th of November, on the 18th of November. Today is the 29th of February. His family has not heard from him, but they believe he's being tortured right now. Okay? There's not enough campaign. There's no coverage from the Western media. And I need all of you today to take a picture of this and post it on your social media non-stop. Tag every representative, tag every MP, tag every officials until we get him safely out of the occupation's hands. Okay, remember Dr. Saleh Alewa. I'm sorry I couldn't find the voice note, but that's my message from his family anyway. Thank you so much for listening. Sorry.
It's an outrage, but they've destroyed every single hospital in Gaza, and they were given the green light to do that when we heard the lies about how it was resistance missiles that blew up Al-Shifa Hospital, and the media in the West went along with that, providing a template for the Israeli occupation forces, the Israeli terrorist army, to go and destroy all the hospitals. That is one of the biggest war crimes ever. It's an outrage that nothing is being done about this in this country, in America. On the contrary, they keep telling us that Israel has a right to defend itself. No, Israel does not have a right to defend itself. It is an occupying power. They do not have a right to defend themselves. The Palestinians have a right to defend themselves. The Palestinians have a right to defend themselves by any means necessary, as Malcolm X would have it. Our next speaker is Anne Alexander, an academic at Cambridge University and a great fighter for Palestinian liberation, one of the founders of the MENA Solidarity Network, which struggles in the Middle East from Sudan to Egypt to Palestine and many places besides.
Thank you. And tonight I'm actually speaking as somebody who works in a university. I'm part of a network called University and College Workers for Palestine, which has just been set up in the last few weeks. And when I heard the colleagues who are health workers talking about the destruction in the health service, I could only think as well that every single university in Gaza has been obliterated. So we're not just talking about the destruction of the health system, we're talking about a new word, educide, the deliberate destruction of Palestinian education systems, from schools to colleges to universities. People may have seen the site of Al-Isra University being literally detonated by Israeli forces a few weeks ago. And we are speaking out in universities, in colleges. We've been taking inspiration from our students who have walked out and protested. And we have been organising for months in solidarity with our Palestinian colleagues. But I wanted to say something about why we're here today specifically, and about what people have spoken very movingly about Aaron Bushnell and the sacrifice that he made, and about the tens of thousands of martyrs, of Palestinian martyrs, who we are also standing here to remember. I'd like to read a brief poem which came to my mind when I heard about what Aaron did. I cannot imagine what his family and friends are going through, same as I cannot imagine what so many Palestinian comrades and friends are going through at the moment. But I think it's very important that we realise that when people stand up and they say, I refuse to be part of this killing machine, that does make a difference. When they stand up to those people who are in power and they say, we will not be part of your system anymore. We will refuse to be part, to be complicit. The poem I want to read is by Bertolt Brecht, and it's a poem about Antigone, who in the play by the Greek writer Sophocles, was condemned to death by the king of the city where she lived because she defied his orders and went to give her brother a proper burial when it had been decreed that her brother would lie out in the street to be eaten by the dogs. Antigone's rebellion was commemorated by Brecht in his play. And I think that Antigone's bravery can stand as a message for all of us. So he said, emerge from the darkness and go before us a while, friendly one, with the light step of total certainty, a terror to the wielders of terror. You turn your face away. I know how much you dreaded death, yet even more you dreaded life without dignity. And you would not let the mighty get away with it, nor would you compromise with the confusers or ever forget dishonor. And over their atrocities, there grew no grass. I think those words can speak to us now. We will not let the mighty get away with it. We will not let them kill people in silence. We will act on our anger, on our grief. And the next point when we have, I think, to act is coming in the next few weeks. In particular, we are mobilizing for a day of action on the 8th of March across the country, which is going to be organized across workplaces around Britain and hopefully around the world. On International Women's Day, it's particularly important that we stand up and say, that we stand against the genocide that's happening in Gaza, where there are at least 25,000 women and children have been killed since October the 7th. Then there is the demonstration on the 9th of March, the mass mobilization that will take place in the streets of the capital, which our government wants to stop. We have to say we will march. We have to say that if tanks roll into Rafah, we will march again. We will walk out. We will organize and act. And finally, I want to invite you to come to an event on Tuesday, which is called an emergency Stop the War Assembly. It's taking place in Hamilton House, Mabledon Place at 6:30 p.m. Everyone here is invited. There will be health workers organising, students and university workers organising, media workers organising. We have to make these mobilisations as big as we can. We will act on our grief and our horror, and we will not let the mighty get away with it.
Thank you, Anne. We have our last speaker, our Egyptian sisters, because they've called a demonstration at the Egyptian embassy tomorrow to shame the Egyptian government, to lift their fingers, do something to help the Arab brothers and sisters. Whatever happened to Arab solidarity? Shame on Sisi! Shame on Sisi, the collaborator!
Yes, hello everyone. Tomorrow we're having a protest in front of the Egyptian embassy. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. And we hope the numbers will be big, because we should condemn this regime, because we believe that they are complicit on the genocide that's happening in Gaza. He claims that the borders are open, and yet no. He abides to what the Israeli says, and he doesn't let anything inside. Shame, shame, shame. We are, by the way, we are asking to open the borders not to displace the Palestinians, no, in order to let the aid in so that they can survive and remain in their land. But he is complicit, and he wants this, the deal of the century, where they want to displace the Palestinians in Sinai. And by the way, he is actually preparing Sinai for that. So please try to turn out in big numbers tomorrow to condemn them, to say that they have to open the border. And to be honest, my daughter Haya can talk more, because she is the one who is organizing it. So please be there.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
I'm just here to reiterate that, yes, we would love to see big numbers, because the Egyptian regime specifically is the most complicit Arab regime in what's happening in Palestine and in Gaza. There are now almost or over 30,000 martyrs, and we're here today to honor them. Sisi, for example, every time there's a Zionist aggression, he closes the borders. He will not open the borders and we need to make our voices heard tomorrow, and we need to make sure that the aid is let in. So he needs to let aid in. Let aid in. Louder, let aid in. 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 We must show our Palestinian brothers and sisters, we must show our people in Gaza that we stand by them always, and that we, all of the Arabs and all of us here in the UK, all of us around the world, stand united until victory, until Palestine is liberated. So, and also, I just wanted to mention that Sisi, since the genocide, has increased imports by the Zionist entity by 73.5%. Shame! It is disgraceful. It is disgraceful, and he does not represent us, the Egyptian people. He will never, ever represent us, because we have always stood with the Palestinians, and we will always stand by them in the fight for their liberation, because none of us are free until Palestine is free, until all of us are free. And there will never, ever be peace on stolen land. Because in order to achieve peace, we must achieve justice. And in order to achieve justice, we must achieve complete and total liberation by any means necessary. And we admire the strength, resilience, and resistance of our Palestinian brothers and sisters. So please, please show up tomorrow. And thank you very much for showing up today and showing your solidarity. One more time.
Please show up tomorrow. We need to show them that we are in big numbers condemning Sisi, who from 6 to 8 in front of the Egyptian embassy. It is 26 South Street, Mayfair. It's off Park Lane, by the way. I just want to add something. The airdrops that they are all boasting about. No, I'm very sorry. You have the border. You have 2,000 trunks that you can let them in, and yet you're claiming that you are airdropping nothing, by the way. The airdrop, in my opinion, it helps improve the face of Israel in front of the world. And actually, they are now. They are showing that they allowed the airdrop for the people in Gaza. So please, again, Sisi's regime is the most complicit in the genocide of Gaza. So I hope we see you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Palestine. Okay, sorry everyone. On Saturday, the 2nd of March at 6:30 in front of Downing Street, there will be a vigil, however you say it, for Palestine, Sudan, Congo, Yemen, and Lebanon. Each country has experienced war and genocide that has resulted in the worst humanitarian crisis and a loss of basic human rights that no one should be without. The UK, USA, and Israel are complicit in all the genocides currently happening. We struggle together, and our freedom and happiness will be shared if we stay connected, if we stay as one. If there's one thing that I would like to do on Saturday, we are all Palestinian. If there is one thing that I would like to do on Saturday, is to honor all the martyrs that have been killed in our name. None of them should have been killed. Every single one of them should be living a happy and peaceful life. But due to the complicity of genocide that the UK, Israel, and America have,
people have been killed. Children will no longer live to see another happy day. And that is unacceptable. It should never happen. We invite you to come together in solidarity and show that we, the people, will not be silenced and the martyrs will never be forgotten. At the end of the day, if there's one thing that we should remember, the people united will never be defeated. 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 Thank you, everyone. I hope to see as many of you guys as I can on Saturday, the 2nd of March, 6:30 outside Downing Street. Bring your flags, bring your banners, and most importantly, please bring your voice. Please, let's speak up and honor all the martyrs that have been killed. And let's make sure that no one else is killed anymore. Thank you.
Rishi Sunak, you can't hide! We charge you with genocide! Rishi Sunak, you can't hide! We charge you with genocide! Keir Starmer, you can't hide! We charge you with genocide! Joe Biden, you can't hide! We charge you with genocide! Now we're going to hear from Aaron Bushell, his last words. And his sacrifice for the 30,000 martyrs of Palestine.
Thank you, Gary. For this, I ask for everyone to be silent so that we can hear Aaron clearly. And after that, following this, it's only a clip of his actual words and his voice coming through. And also following that, there'll be a small song dedicated to him. Thanks.
I am an active duty member of the United States Air Force, and I will no longer be complicit in genocide. I'm about to engage in an extreme act of protest, but compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of their colonizers, it's not extreme at all. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal.
He did his best, was it enough? You couldn't feel for all of us. We told the truth, we didn't come to fool ya. They made us scream with a loaded gun. Oh, who waited? What have we done? He had freedom on his tongue. Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, He did his best, was it enough? You couldn't feel for all of us. We told the truth, we didn't come to fool ya. They made us scream with a loaded gun. Oh, who waited? What have we done? He had freedom on his tongue. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah,
To pay our final respects to Aaron Bushnell, I'm just going to lead some chants. I'm going to say, Aaron Bushnell, rest in peace. And I'd like you to say it with me, please. Aaron Bushnell, rest in peace. 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 Aaron Bushnell, rest in peace.
We'll now do a minute's silence for Aaron's memory. Bell. Thank you, everybody, for Aaron. I think it's so important to remember Aaron, what he's done, because we know the Vietnam War ended because the US Army fell apart, because GIs said, no, we're not going to fight anymore. And they were helped by the struggle at home, where people in their thousands and in their millions marched, occupied, and fought back. Some were shot dead by their own police for doing so at Kent State University. But there's nearly a revolution inside American society because of that war they fought in Vietnam, in which 2 million civilians died. Well, there's another war going on now, which is of equal historic importance, perhaps even more so. And it's now coming at a time when American power can apparently seem quite strong, but in truth, it's very, very weak. They know that too. They have other adversaries in the world. China, who they really care about, Russia, World War III. So they've got a lot on their plate. And we're going to give them a hell of a lot more on their plate to think about. Because every time Joe Biden goes on TV and claims that he's talking to the Israelis about a ceasefire, but what can I do about it? I can tell you what you can do about it. Stop the cargo planes full of bombs landing in Tel Aviv every single day from the United States of America that are blowing up children in Gaza. That's what you can do, Joe Biden. And we say, hats off to the people in the primary in Michigan who said we're not going to vote. Even though we have the horror of Trump to look at, we're not going to vote for Joe Biden because you are supporting genocide. So that's why he lost 13% of his vote in Michigan. But we have to do more than voting. We have to stay on the streets, get bigger on the streets, become more militant on the streets, become a wider and deeper movement so that they can't pretend that somehow we are the mob, because we are the people, as someone said before. We are the many and they are the few. There are 66% of the people of this country that agree with us. Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Over to Tubby!
Here you go, Nala. Repeat the chant. Okay, guys, we're gonna do following right into what Gary said. I want you to repeat after me. 1, we are the people. 2, we won't be silent. 3, stop the bombing now, 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 now. 1, we are the people. 2, we won't be silent. 3, stop the bombing now, 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 now. 1, we are the people. 2, we won't be silent. 3, stop the bombing now, 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 now. 1, we are the people. 2, we won't be silent. 3, stop the bombing now, 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 now.
Ceasefire now! 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 All right, everyone. I have another one. It has the same flow as one, We Are the People, but it's a little bit different, so do it with me, okay? We will never leave